My name is Nyaradzayi. I'm the General Secretary of the World Young Women's Christian Association. And I'm recently appointed the African Union Goodwill Ambassador for the campaign to end child marriage. A future for girls, by girls. These are the girls. In this conversation, just connecting with Miriam's story, a 12-year-old is also connecting with the dreams of the adolescent girls. And we will hear from Melissa Kubvoruno from Rosaria Memorial Trust in Zimbabwe. And that will be followed by a conversation that we'll hear from also Denise Stanning's amazing experience and her innovation to lead and create space. And Cecilia Garcia will continue that discussion from the perspective of somebody who is working every day in terms of programs for girls and with girls. Melissa, we know that you are a champion for girls and the future of girls. And actually, you had to skip school today, huh? In order to be a champion. Over to you. What is your dream? What is your dream as an adolescent girl? What can you say to us about the future?
Okay, thank you. What a lovely question. What is the future that I want to see? Firstly, the statement that says nothing about me without me involve me is quite a powerful statement. We as young African girls, we as adolescent girls, we want to be included in these decision-making processes. When our leaders are making decisions that affect our lives, we want to be included in these decision-making processes, because when they are making decisions, they are actually making decisions that will affect us and will affect the future that we'll live in. And secondly, we want comprehensive sexual reproductive health education in our school curriculum. We have discovered that so many teachers segregate the sexual reproductive health part when they are teaching us, and I think it's not fair when it comes to us. Right now, there are 860 million girls, 860 million young women and girls, and part of them don't even have access to this sexual reproductive health information, and I don't think that's fair. Lastly, but not least, there are so many girls who die due to maternal complications, and these maternal complications can be prevented, especially those who are in the grassroots. So I urge those who lead us to actually look at the midwives and look at the people who help the young women, especially in rural communities, so that they will be able to prevent those maternal complications. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Melissa. And I recall your conversation with the president of your country, Zimbabwe, on these issues. So we continue to follow through the conversation. Denise Stanning, you are a founder of Let Girls Lead. It means something for somebody to found something, especially organizations like those pushing for issues of girls. Why are you so passionate? What drives you to invest in girls, to invest in young women? And what are some of the innovative strategies that you and your organizations are taking on? Over to you.
My own passion for this work actually began when I was a girl. I was 12 years old, and I was on a train with my parents in Argentina. And we were in a train station at about 20 minutes outside of Buenos Aires, and the train doors opened, and I saw a girl step onto the train. And she was maybe just a couple years older than I was, and she was carrying a baby, and she was pulling a toddler along behind her. And they were all dirty. They had torn clothing. They were clearly very, very poor. And I watched as they walked down the center aisle of the train, sort of shuffling, asking in every row for help and for money and for food. And I just watched her transfixed as literally in every single row, people just looked away. And no one wanted to see her, and no one wanted to help her. And I remember in that moment feeling so incredibly angry and also ashamed that there was nothing I could do to help. So I've never forgotten that girl. And I've never forgotten really a gift that she gave me that day, which I call my girl glasses. Because that girl that day opened my eyes to the realities facing 600 million girls around the world who live in poor countries. These are girls who don't get to go to school, who often don't even have enough food to eat, who don't see a doctor when they need one, and who too often live in fear and in silence. That girl inspired me eventually to start Let Girls Lead, which is building a global movement of champions who empower girls to transform their own lives, their families, their communities, and the world. Because one thing that I've learned from this work is, and you see it here, girls are not victims. Girls suffer incredible challenges, but the truth is that girls are leaders and girls are powerful agents of change. And that if we invest in girls, they can create solutions far beyond the magnitude that we could come up with on our own. So our model is simple and compelling. We invest in in-country leaders and organizations who are doing powerful work with girls and give them the resources, the tools, the networks, and the funding to expand their impact. So to give you a sense, one of the women that we work with is Rosanna Shack, who in 2010 ran the only safe home for girls in Liberia. So she gave 25 girls a year a safe place to live, food to eat, and the chance to go to school. So through our capacity building and focus on advocacy and a grant that we made to her, she was able to launch a national campaign which led to passage of one of the most progressive laws for children in all of Africa. So it guarantees children's rights, health, and education and has specific protections for adolescent girls so that they can't be pushed into forced marriages. So that's essentially the model of helping visionary leaders like Rosanna go from reaching 25 girls to now reaching over 1 million girls in Liberia. And we're really excited about this work because we now have a network of over 100 leaders and are launching 2 new initiatives. So one is Champions for Change, in partnership with the Gates Foundation, investing in in-country leaders and organizations who are advocating for improved reproductive, maternal, newborn, and child health so that Nigerian leaders can save the lives of women, newborns, and children. And then the second is the Youth Champions Initiative, which I'm actually thrilled to be launching here at PMNCH in Johannesburg. And that is in honor of the Packard Foundation's 50th anniversary, investing in visionary young champions who will lead the sexual and reproductive health and rights movement for the next generation.
Mm-hmm. That's exciting. And that takes us to Cecilia. You spent your time hard working on the tough issues as the gender program director at Espolea. Could you share with us what are some of the challenges and what are some of the key recommendations that you see is so critical, especially being here at the PMNCH Forum?
Thank you very much for the opportunity to share some thoughts around this fundamental issue. And as you just mentioned, as youth advocate and as a member of a youth-led organization that promotes the human rights of young people in Mexico and in the Latin American region, I continue to see how girls, adolescents, and young women still face discrimination and violence when accessing sexual and reproductive health services. How are they denied access to comprehensive sexuality education and mother contraceptives? How are they forced to marry, to become mothers, or even criminalized when exercising their reproductive rights? And it must be said that these systemic human rights violations happen despite the fact that we are now living in the post-CEDAW and Beijing era. And this reality, which is not that different from what happens in other countries and other regions, is a reminder that these courses do not change the lives of girls and women, nor do the laws that are not enforced or the public policies that are not effectively and transparently implemented. Therefore, we need to continue building the capacity of both the governments and the civil society sectors, of course, of the youth movement and the youth leaders, to continue working around these issues and to advance to achieve the MDGs as well as the upcoming Sustainable Development Goals. And here I must highlight Women Delivers Sea Exchange Youth Initiative, as well as Johnson & Johnson's commitment and support for young leaders to attend this forum, to share our concerns, our experiences, and also to make the most out of this forum, to take this back to our communities, as well as the Packard Foundation is also doing, and many other peoples and partners that are really committed to achieve these goals. And finally, I would like to finish by saying that a future for girls, by girls, will only be possible to the extent that their human rights are respected, protected, promoted, and warranted in the present. Thank you very much.
Wow. The girls and the young women are speaking out on the post 2015. We have her future, the future young women want. We also have the Girl Declaration that has been launched, that the girls have produced, that is part of the message. Are we listening to the girls? If there is one message that you'd like to reinforce, that you'd say, this is my singular recommendation, what is the one recommendation that you have, Cecilia, which you would like to see in the post 2015? Cecilia, your one single recommendation, and to the point.
That we need to shift the development paradigm, and in order for that to happen, girls, adolescents, and women have to be at the center of the post-2015 agenda. That would be my message.
Thank you. Denise, your one recommendation from the work that you're doing, from your passion, from the dreams, and from the innovations. One recommendation.
Wear your girl glasses. We're building a global movement to improve the lives of girls and young women, and we need everyone's help. Invest in the power of girls and young people to create a better world.
Melissa, we know that Rosaria Memorial Trust runs girls' clubs in rural Zimbabwe. What are the girls asking you to say today? What is their recommendation, those girls?
Okay, thank you. Some of you right now are on Facebook, some of you are tweeting, some of you are blogging on Instagram. There's so many social networks, but some of us don't consider the fact that we are not actually reaching to those who are at the roots. So I encourage those who are in the media, especially those who use radios, to actually reach out to those young women who are at the grassroots. Thank you.
Thank you, SG. I thank my panel, and I also want to tell one, two of my stories. There's poverty, then there's extreme poverty, then there's extreme poverty. Sitting here as a global leader, leading the world YWCA, I know poverty which smells, where you know, I know it's hard. It's hard growing up being poor. It's hard not only not having shoes, it's easy. It's hard not having a pant on which to hold your menses. Girls have dreams. As a girl, I had a dream. Our girls have dreams. The future of our girls must listen to the voices of our girls. There's no shortcut about it. As the African Union Goodwill Ambassador for ending child marriage, you have heard Miriam speak. They are not a statistic. We need action now. We can end child marriage within a single generation. And I am asking today, Africa has made its decision, has made its commitment. I'm asking the United Nations, when member states are negotiating post-MDG, we need that commitment to ending child marriage in the document to be accompanied by the necessary resources and to be accompanied by the change. For Miriam has spoken, Melissa has spoken, Denise and Cecilia have spoken. The future lies with girls. Thank you very much.